Yeah. Let's see. Hi Mars, how are you doing today? A bit of exhausting day. I hope yours hasn't been too bad. Actually, I almost let's just say I almost cancelled my stream because like my work today is actually very very bad, and I was like, I'm going to have to do overtime after I finish my stream, aren't I? I'm like, okay, sure. So yeah, after my stream, I'm going to have to move back to doing a bit of work. But thank you so much for asking. Mars, you're doing good. Thank you. Thank you for asking as well. I'm doing okay and a little bit tired, I suppose. But I'm still interested for our story time today. Yeah, pretty much. Okay. Let's get started. Hi, Kyra. How are you doing today? Yeah. I haven't read through all of them. Like, I was thinking I could react to the stories the same time as reading it all together with you guys. So I don't know. Some of them I hope they aren't too cringy, because I have had times where the stories are a bit cringy. Thank you so much, Kyra, for the heart. So yep. Let me start with the first one. This is a short story written by Emotional Link. It's going to be on Reddit short scary stories. Okay, so yeah, the problem with Reddit is that some of them are either really good or really bad. So let's see which one today that we will get, okay? So the first one is called I've Always Been Haunted by Sleep. Hello. Hey, Hannah. And hello, It Hurts. Welcome. So I'm gonna start with the first story, okay? I've always been haunted by sleep. So, when I went to the school nurse that day, I thought it'd go like usual. But I should have known better, because the last couple of nights hadn't gone like usual. Tough night? Nurse Cap asked. I nodded, but I kept my eyes down. Scary, violent thoughts? I didn't nod. There was something new keeping me up this time. Something I hadn't told her, or anyone, yet. Something else? She asked, gently, and I nodded, kicking my foot out where it hung from the chair, and watching my untied shoelace rise and fall. You know you can always tell me, right? Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mika. No Scarlet, no bonking today. Today is full story time. You can save the bonk for Monday when I play fast mode, okay? So let me return to the story. She stiffened. Knox, you say? I nodded. I was really brave. I didn't get my parents. I pulled everything from under the bed. But there was nothing. And they kept going, and I just lay there, scared, all night. Okay, sweetheart, she said. You must have been so scared. How about you take a nap? I'll be here to protect you. Exhausted, I agreed. When it was time to go, she stopped me in the doorframe. Andy, she said, with her voice strained. My grandmother used to tell me stories when I took care of her. Her mind was going, but she told me that she heard the knocks, too. 3 sharp knocks coming from some place that weren't supposed to be coming from. She's only heard them when someone near her was going to die. But she didn't know who, and it never went away. Has anyone near you passed recently? Ooh, I took a big sigh and said, my neighbor, Mr. Bernard, and then his wife. My voice empty as I said, this is a lot, but I have to tell you, my grandmother learned that the louder the knocks were, the closer the person was to her. She walked over and pulled me into a hug. I'm sorry, but there's nothing you can do. It's been 15 years since that conversation. I've heard the knocks 3 more times. One was the mailman. Another was my favorite teacher. And once more was my sister, who died of an overdose while I was sleeping in the hall. Years passed between each death, but it took me hours to fall asleep every night. Tonight, they were back, and tonight they were louder than ever. I looked over at my sleeping fiancé, and I remember that day telling Nurse Cap, the only adult who believed me, and the only person I'd ever told. I laid awake all night holding my love. And when the train they took for their morning commute derailed, killing them and 55 others, I could only stumble into the mortuary and ID their body, alone, again, and doomed to hear death until my own. Okay, that's the first story. Hi Azam, hi. Thank you so much, Azan. Thank you so much, Fumiko. And yeah, hi Vixen. No, this is not AI. So I think that story was that he can basically hear death coming, and they'll be like knocking on the doors. Oh dear, that's quite that's quite something. Imagine being able to hear knocks before you hear deaths. I mean, before you have deaths near you. Okay. Thank you so much, Fumiko. Thank you. Hi, Vixen. Okay. I know, right, Hannah? Maybe I am AI. Okay. So this next story is by Forgotten Well. It's called A Noose is Just a Window. Mary's son, Braden, he was an angel. He would eat his broccoli without being asked. He never forgot his please and thank yous. And he could win a spelling bee as easily as he could cartwheel the length of a football field. He was very talented. He was kind, which is quite rare for a 6th grader. But there was one thing. Braden heard voices. Just one voice, actually. He heard the voice of Mary's late husband, his dead father. She scavenged the best therapists and psychiatrists, made countless long drives to fruitless appointments. Braden received the same diagnosis from all of them, is that he's a healthy and normal boy. So, what was it that he was hearing? Maybe she was the one who needed help. Mary would serve him breakfast, chocolate chip pancakes and maple syrup, and ignore whenever Braden told her that Dad wanted to say good morning. and the drawings. Braden could draw with the skill of a college art student, and the pictures were all of her late husband. Him golfing, them as a family, him waving hello and looking out as if he could see you. She managed to ignore all that, and she would regret for the rest of her life she ignored Braden when he said Dad was teaching him a magic spell that involved a rope and a knot. The basement was unfinished. 2x4s plagued where there should have been a textured ceiling, which is where Braden managed to wrap a rope, tied a noose, and hung himself. Mary collapsed when she discovered him, made a tortured wail like every ounce of oxygen was ripped from her lungs. She was shaking so bad it took her 3 times to try and dial 911. In the days that followed, Mary learned that the human body could weep without end. Hour and even days, she learned that she was utterly alone. She learned that she couldn't even go near the basement door, which she always kept closed. Until one morning which she diluted her coffee with French vanilla creamers. She turned to the basement door and found it open. She heard something down there. Someone. She could hear Brandon's laugh echoing from the basement. She tread the wooden stairs down to the concrete floor and saw the rope. When emergency services carted Brandon down, they left the rope tied to the 2x4s. The rope hung still, as if calling her. She grabbed the cut end and tied it 12 inches, making a loop. And through that loop she saw a different world. Her husband and son were laughing on the night green of a country club. She could smell the grass and the cheap cologne she bought for her husband for their anniversary. Braden looked into her eyes. "Mom, we are waiting for you." Her husband then blew a kiss, and then Mary realized all she wanted in the world was to be back with her family, and they were right in front of her, echoing for a reunion. Okay, that's the end of that story. So it seems that I don't know, maybe the son could hear dead father at first, but I don't know, she was like convinced to basically hang herself. Hey Azan, hey Fira, thank you so much guys. Ooh, that's a bit something. Okay, well, hi everyone who just came into the chat. Today we are doing Reddit horror stories. They are either bad or they are good, so yeah, just sit tight and get comfy and get spooked. Okay, alright. So this next one is called My Name Was Never Recorded, and this is my gold palpitation. My name was never recorded. I was supposed to check in for a routine dentist appointment. Nothing major, just a cleaning. When I got to the reception's desk, she smiled and asked for my name, and then she typed it into the computer. But then she frowned. "Sorry, what's your name again?" I repeated. I'm not seeing you in the system. Are you sure you have the right date? I pulled up the email confirmation on my phone, showing her the exact time and date. Everything matched. She looked more confused than I felt. 1 second, let me check something. She walked back into the office. A minute later, a second receptionist returned, an older woman with sharp eyes. She gave me one quick look and asked for my name again. When I told her, her face went blank. Are you sure? She asked. I forced a laugh. I'm pretty sure. I've had it my whole life. She didn't laugh. She just turned to the computer, typed something, and then stiffened. I'm sorry, she said quickly. There's no record of you. Not just for today's appointment. There's nothing under your name. Like you've never been here before. That didn't make any sense. I've been coming to this office for years. I even remembered sitting in the exact waiting room chair just 6 months ago, reading some outdated magazine about celebrity divorce. I opened my wallet and showed them my ID just to prove I existed. But my ID was gone. So was my debit card, my insurance card, and everything that had my name on it. I patted my pockets, my heart hammering now. I checked my phone again, scrolling through my contacts to find someone who can vouch for me. The names looked unfamiliar. I clicked on my mom's contact, but instead of her name, the number was saved as unknown contact. I stared at the screen, trying to remember. Was that even her number? A slow chill crept up my spine. The receptionist then looked at me, waiting, and then asked, "Are you okay?" I wasn't sure how to answer because, for the first time, I'm lost. And then, yeah, actually that's it. He just stopped there. Huh. So this one doesn't really make sense to me. It's all of a sudden his identity just disappeared. Is this how dementia feels like? Yeah. Is this how dementia actually feels like? I'm not asking people to describe, but because dementia, you can't really remember a lot of sequences, right? So who knows? Maybe this is a description of dementia. Okay. This next one is written by Galactic Gumbo 1. The title, this one is very short. The title is Check the Baby Monitor. My sister texted me while I was babysitting my niece. Check the baby monitor, she said. I sighed. She was always paranoid, but still I glanced at the screen. My niece was out cold and curled up in her crib. What am I looking for? I typed back. Zoom in, she said. Look in the corner. I frowned, but as she said that, the night visions were grainy, but I could make out something standing in the corner of the room, not moving, just there. My stomach dropped. That wasn't me. That wasn't my sister. We were alone. I didn't want to go upstairs, but I had to. I grabbed the heaviest thing I could find, a fireplace poker, and forced myself to go up the steps. My hands shook as I pushed the nursery door open. There was nothing. Just my niece breathing softly. The closet was empty. The window was locked. I exhaled, laughing nervously. Just a glitch. A shadow. Maybe something explainable. And then my phone buzzed again. It was a message from my sister. Her message said, "It moved." Okay, that's the end. Hi Gizzy. Hi everyone, and thank you so much. I see a lot of new faces. Thank you guys so much for the follows. Oh my god, so basically this one is quite scary. So the baby monitor shows that there's a black figure, but it isn't him nor the sister. So there's some ghostly figure in the baby's room, which they aren't sure what it is. Hey Kissy, thank you so much, love. Thank you. That was kind of creepy, actually. So that's going to be another story. So let me find another one. Okay. So this next one is called Sorry for Your Loss. It is by John JPG. Hi Sylvian. Hi Dead Eyes. And welcome to the stream. So let me start with the story. The story starts. Take your time, the officer said in a neutral tone. Eyes trained on me. I didn't meet his gaze. Instead, my eyes were locked onto the woman laid on the cold sheet of steel. Her eyes were softly shut. She could have been sleeping, if it's not for the uncannily pale hue of her skin. I scanned over her body for any indication that the officer was mistaken, any slight clue that might hint at a mistake. Her cheek freckles, which she affectionately labeled as a stardust, now blended almost imperceptibly with the off-white flesh. Her messy golden curls, which once bounced every time she giggled, and it's now lied unspooled and motionless over the slab. Her pale and pink lips, which embraced mine every morning, now glisten a sickly yellow tone and shade under the buzz of fluorescent lighting. As my eyes trailed down her body, I recalled every mark, every imperfection. The birthmark on her collarbone, the mole over her right chest, the scar below her legs. My eyes were drawn to the slight tan line on her left ring finger. However, police never found the wedding ring with her belongings. How long has she... My throat tightened as I became unable to finish the sentence. Coroner said she's been dead for about a week. My stomach twisted and churned at the officer's words. It was true. She was no longer a person. She could no longer talk, or laugh, or kiss. I rasped out the two hardest syllables of my life, barely above a squeak. It's her. The pit in my stomach grew deeper as my throat clenched out 3 more words. It's my wife. The room began spinning as my vision blurred and my heart pounded against my rib cage. I'm sorry for your loss. I could barely hear the officer over the singular thought which grew louder with every second. If she is here, then what is in our house? What did I leave alone with our child? Okay, that's the end of this story. So I think his wife is dead, and there's some imposter that's at home with his child. I'm listening to this story in my room with the lights turned off, and I got shiver. Thank you, as horror story with me in a car park alone. Kissy, please, can you please go back home? Can you please be in your room and be safe? Okay, so that was that story. Okay, let me go to the next one. This next story is also by Forgotten Well. It is called How Can I Live Without You? She had been fainting and falling down. My wife would insist it was just being dizzy. I begged her to see a doctor, but you know how expensive that can get. We were both working so much, but never seemed to ever earn enough. In the hospital, the doctor told me if I have any last words, now would be the time. I held her hand. She was so weak she could barely squeeze back. I told her I loved her more than I loved anything. I loved that she had terrible taste in peanut butter. I loved that even though we'd been married for 12 years, I was still too dumb to understand what her job was. Wait, what? Wait. Okay. And I was told that I didn't know how I was going to live without her. She got me close and whispered, and managed a whisper. You have to live. I told her I would, but I was lying. Not long after she passed, I got laid off. My parents were already gone. I didn't know my wife's parents. I was alone, broke, depressed. And I'm going to be homeless. I decided I couldn't do this anymore. I decided I couldn't do being alone anymore. I managed to hang the noose from my bedroom ceiling, but I was scared. So to feel better, I put on the Fellowship of the Ring. If Frodo could brave his big journey, then so could I. Around the time the fireworks went off at Bilbo's birthday party, I kicked the stool underneath me and hung. I swung and I swung, and before I knew it, Gandalf was saying, "Run, you fools." How long have I been hanging? Why wasn't I dead? Now, I wasn't mad. Sorry. Now, I wasn't scared, but I was mad, determined to end my suffering. I shook myself loose and drove to the nearest grocery store. I bought 8 bottles of aspirin and 2 liters of pineapple Fanta. Back home, I put the 2 towers and started drinking, chugging even. I'd finished 5 bottles and most of the 2 liters before I was full and felt like I was gonna explode. The credits rolled and I felt fine. Fuck. No more funny business, I said. I went to the closet and grabbed the revolver I inherited from my dad. It's old, but reliable. I checked to make sure it was loaded, and then I put it to my head. Before I could pull the trigger, the TV clicked off. A cloaked figure appeared before me, and get this, he was with a big scythe. He was the Grim Reaper. Finally, I said, I'm ready. Take me to the afterlife. The Reaper then removed their hood. It was my wife. Honey? I know you miss me, she said. But you have to live. I teared up. I don't think I can. I've saved you twice, but I won't be able to do it again. It's not your time. You have to live. As quick as she disappeared, she was gone. I started crying. I missed her so much. And I put down the gun and went to the kitchen to make a disgusting, crunchy sandwich with peanut butter. Full stop. Okay, that's the story for that. I clicked thinking this was your boyfriend falls down from the stairs and oncoming truck. Would you like that? Maybe I can do that as one of my videos. Boyfriend gets boyfriend falls down the stairs and dies. Maybe I can do something like that. I'll make the voices for that. What do you think? 110%. They're hilarious. Okay. Okay. Hey Jester, thank you so much. It's a sign. Maybe I need to do stupid boyfriend shit. Boyfriend fell down I don't know, fell down the stairs, broke his legs and died. Okay. So let's move on to the next story. I don't know, that previous one was okay. I didn't expect the wife to be the Grim Reaper. I expected him to try and kill himself the third time, and I don't know, something happens. So this is another story. Is by Curator of Realities, and the title he gave is She Chose Me Until She Couldn't. I never known love, not the kind poets whisper about, not the kind that sets fires in the soul. This isn't to say I haven't tried. I have. It's a simple thing, a trick of the tongue, a whisper of power, a spellbinding thing beneath the skin, like a second heartbeat, unshakable, unpermanent, mindless, worshipping, branded things. They always love me. They never have a choice. But Lila, Lila makes that choice every day. Lila, with her sharp tongue and quick wit, her refusal to be anything but herself. Lila, who argues and teases and kisses me breathless, who laughs like the world is hers to devour. Lila, who chooses me again and again. You vampires brood too much, she teases, tangled in sheets, tasting of wine and recklessness. Just be happy for once. And impossibly, I am. It's intoxicating, this love, this realness. It makes me lightheaded, weightless, and alive. But love is also fragile. And hello, Lisumi. Yeah, hi. Love is fragile, and I'm not the kind of person that's built for fragility. You ever think about forever? Lila asked one night. Her hair fanned out like a crown on our bed. I smirked. I have a bit more time to consider it than you. Exactly, she muses. Maybe that's why you don't panic about it. Forever is terrifying. Why? I said. Because nothing stays the same. People change. Love changes. You can wake up one day and not want me anymore. I go still. That will never happen. You don't know that. But I do. I know it like I know hunger. Like I know blood. Lila sigh. I love you, but love isn't a cage. Love isn't a cage, but love leaves. Love ends, and love chooses. Sorry, let me take a quick pause. Hi Lee Sumi, I see you. Okay, let me continue. What if one day Lila chose something else? What if that one day comes? The thought of it is frankly unbearable to me. I tell myself it's nothing, that love is a choice, and that she chooses me. But the thought festers, burrowing inward like rot. Every glance feels like scrutiny, every argument an omen. I can't keep proving myself to you, Lila snaps one night. You don't have to, I say, a lie in the shape of truth. Then trust me, she said. I reach out for her, but then she hesitated. And that's it, the breaking point. Slammed doors, shattered glasses, too much wine. Hands, my hands, tight around her wrists. And then, nothing. A black hole where memory should be. Morning comes, thick with regret. I descend the stairs, rehearsing apologies, my heart hammering. Lila, She sits in the wreckage of last night, back to me. Unmoving, waiting. She's just upset, I'm sure. She wants me to grovel and to promise that I'll do better. And that I will. I'll tell her anything she wants to hear. I'll I'll fix this. I have to. I swallow hard. It was my fault. I don't remember, but I was so scared. I was so scared, okay? But I'll try, Lila. I swear. She turns. The air turns oppressive. Wrong. A smile. Vacant. Of course, my love. Anything you say. Her voice has no weight. Her eyes, no soul. And there, at the base of her throat, burned into her skin, the mark. My mark. I scream. The end. Yeah, that's the end for this story. Yes, hi Lee Sume. Hi. I can't disclose that, but thank you so much. Yeah. So apparently I think he abused his girlfriend until, I don't know, she reached a point where abuse is just really bad. I think that's the story. That's really tragic. I cannot stand people like that. But I guess this is what happens if you know, when you're in a relationship and it feels like a cage, you feel trapped. Yeah. Okay. This next one, I've read this story. No, this is not AI. Hi, Hira. Jesus. Okay, hi. This next one, I'm not too sure if it's actually a full horror story, but I've read this one. It's okay. So let me just start. This story is written by Simon O'Neill, and it is titled "My Job Won't Let Me Quit." This job interview has been intense. The salary was beyond anything I have dreamed of. The benefits unmatched. The CEO herself, Lucy, sat across the desk, smiling warmly. "You'll be making dreams come true, Nathan," she said. "All you have to do is close deals. People will come to you, desperate. And then you give them exactly what they want." I was an experienced banker. I knew how to negotiate. I want a penthouse in Manhattan, fully paid off. Lucy smiled. "Done. No taxes. Ever. Of course. Full medical coverage. Unlimited vacation. No oversight." She chuckled. "You drive a hard bargain, Nathan." But then I smirked. "If you want the best, you have to pay for it." And then she signed a contract and said, "Done." I never read it, but I should have. 3 years later, I was the company's top closer. My clients left gleaming, their wildest dreams granted. Then Peter stormed in. "You ruined my life." I barely looked up. "Sir, you signed the contract." Grief draped across his face. "Yeah? But now my wife is dead." I frowned. "Your business is thriving, no?" He scoffed. "You think that matters? She was my whole world, and now she's gone because of you." Security dragged him away. But I couldn't shake the feeling that he was right. That night, I combed through old files. Patterns emerged. Deals that have given people exactly what they wanted at an impossible cost. A man who wished for fame, his family dead. A woman who begged for wealth, dead. By morning, I made my decision. I walked into HR and handed my resignation. The woman behind the desk smiled and said, "I'm sorry, Nathan, but you can't leave." I laughed. That's not how quitting works. She typed something into a computer. "Your contract is still in effect. I apologize." I leaned in and said, "I quit." That night, the email came from HR. "Notice rejection. Your resignation request has been denied." From HR. Reminder, termination of employment is not an option. The next morning, I found a meeting scheduled. From Lucy. Subject, a quick chat. With a deep breath, I walked into her office. She sat at her desk, fingers straightened. "You've been causing quite a stir," she said. I didn't sit. "Look, I'm sorry, but I'm done." Lucy sighed. "Nathan, you negotiated so well when you started." She slid forward a folder towards me. "This was my contract. You remember, don't you?" She tapped the page. "You wanted the best deal possible, and I got it." Her grin widened, and so did I, tapping louder. I finally read the fine print. The signee forfeits their soul to the employer. Termination is not possible. What? How? This isn't legal, I said. She laughed. "It's not Lucy. It's Lucifer." She leaned in, her voice absolute, unshaken, inescapable. "Nathan, you're working for the devil. You think I care about legal?" I bolted for the door. Lucifer sighed and flicked her fingers downward. The floor split wide open. The heat hit first. Suffocating, unbearable, and eternal. I screamed as I plunged into the flames. Oh, okay. The end. So that is the story for this. Hi, Lisumi. Hi, Alisa. And this is why, guys, this is actually why we need to read the contract. This is actually why we need to read the fine print of any contract. If the contract says you're binded to the company forever, I don't know about you, but to me that's a fucking red flag. You gotta get the fuck out of there. No, Lisa, I'm still continuing. Yeah, so make sure to read the fine print. Contracts. Don't just like skip. I know a lot of us here. I know a lot of you guys and the viewers. Whenever you make a new account for a new social media platform, you see those terms and conditions. You don't even look at what you are clicking. You don't even see the fine print when you make that account. What if the account says your information is now sold to China? You just said yes. The company literally says in Mortal, what's his name? The guy in Mortal Kombat, your soul is mine. Yeah, pretty much. Okay, everyone's having a good time? Let me get some water. Okay. So, let me look at this other one. Okay, sorry, trying not to die. Where was I? Alright, horror. Let me find another good one. While I look for something good. How's everyone doing today? How's everyone's day? Have you had your dinner or breakfast wherever you are? Don't be like me, who doesn't eat my meals on time. This is a really good one, but it's unfortunately not safe for work. So maybe I won't read this one. It involves ain't that the damn truth? Come on, Kizzy. I ate today, okay? Don't do that to me today. Yeah, there's a few that's very too much, I think is the right word, because it's very gruesome and it involves a lot of adult vulgarities. Okay, here's another one. You're safe for now, not okay. Alright. Let me start the next one, okay? This next one is called Busy Lizzie. I found love at work. Did Toothless eat today? Yes he did. Thank you for asking. Okay, let me start. It's cliche, I know. But sometimes destiny is like that. I didn't think I could love again after Kevin. But from the moment I saw Blake, it was like I was breathing fresh air for the first time in years. Depression has a way of making the world small and colorless. I hadn't felt like interacting with anyone or going anywhere. Nothing I watched entertained me anymore. I basically became a former shell of my former self. I was let go from a job I loved. The pitying looks from my coworkers as I packed my things were unbearable. Friends and family tried to pull me from my slump, but they could only do so much. Honestly, as devastating as depression is when you're in it, to an outsider, it's boring. People have a hard time understanding why you won't even make an effort. All that changed when Blake came into the picture. That smile, it brought a warmth I thought lost forever. Okay, bye, Alyssa. I was smiling again. I found myself eager to get up in the morning, just to hear his laugh. He had the kind of energy that made the world feel light again. He reminded me of Kevin that way. And very quickly, Blake became the best part of my day. I dread being home on weekends, and I'm embarrassed to admit I spent them wondering what he was up to, and thought if he ever thought about me. It was lucky that I met him at my new job. People assume my change in demeanor was because work gave me purpose again. It was easier to let them believe that. So we grew closer as we talked about our dreams and places we wanted to go. It was almost overwhelming that a single person could hold the power to lift me from despair so effortlessly, like it was meant for me. The first time Blake told me he loved me, I nearly cried. Luckily, I managed to hold it together because I didn't want to scare him. Soon after that, I asked if he wanted to move in with me. He didn't even hesitate before saying yes. We talked about where we wanted to live and decided near the beach. My life had meaning again. I was excited for the future. Nothing would get in the way of that. Leaving work was unprofessional, but when life gives you an opportunity, you take it. I packed a car and used my savings to buy a charming little 2-bedroom cottage by the ocean, paid in cash. Pulling up to the beach house, it felt like the perfect fresh start. I could already picture our days building sandcastles, watching sunsets. From the back seat, his small voice snapped me back to reality. "Miss McCain, when can I see Mommy?" "He's young. He'll take some time to adjust." I understood what I'd been missing. I loved being a teacher, but I was always meant to be a mother. Wait, that's the ending. Wait, what? Oh my god, she kidnapped the boy. Holy shit. She kidnapped the boy, and I think she's gonna be grooming him. Dear Lord, what in the actuality did I just read? That is, yeah. Ooh, that was wicked. That was not cool. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that plot twist. Let's see this other one. Okay, this next one is called Brad and Ruby. It's written by Wonderful. Okay. Anyway, let me start. The car came to an abrupt halt, followed by a deep sigh from Brad. "I'm sick of this shit." He didn't even try to mutter under his breath. Instead, he screamed it, sending a sense of dread through Ruby. She glanced over at the back seat, making sure their little girl was okay. Sophia smiled back at her mother, oblivious to the rising tension in the car. Ruby cooed at her daughter and giving a wave and then blowing her a kiss. "Brad," Ruby began, desperately thinking of ways to defuse the situation to calm her husband. But she was immediately cut off dismissively by a wave of Brad's hand. "I am sick of this shit," he repeated, slowly and meanly. His once kind eyes bore hatred into his wife. He threw open the door and got out, ignoring Ruby's increasing anxiety as she begged to know what he was doing. Brad tore open the door to the back seat, grabbing Sophia's blanket, her baby bag with nappies, and a change of clothes. He flung those items out the ground with a growl of anger, hastily attempting to unclip the car seat their daughter sat in. Ruby was out of the car. A sickening game of tug-of-war started. Brad trying to rip out the car seat, and Ruby trying desperately to keep it secure. "Please, you're scaring her," Ruby tried to reason, and tears streaming down her face. "You're going to hurt her." Brad growled inhumanely, his features contorting to something evil and ugly. He smiled, a sad, strange, but a smile nonetheless. Ruby felt sick. She was married to a monster. Despite her efforts, Ruby couldn't match Brad's strength. She was married, and within a moment, the car seat was unclipped and flung through the air, crashing down with a thud onto the road. Now it was Ruby's turn to scream inhumanely. She ran to the crumpled car seat, screaming her daughter's name, while Brad watched on, emotionless. "I'm sick of this shit, Ruby. I can't do this anymore. I thought I was stronger, and that I could be there for you, but I can't. I can't do this anymore. Not like this." Ruby didn't and couldn't respond. Her husband has lost his mind. She felt numb with shock at what had just happened. Sorry, quick pause. Yes. Hi, Kaji Conan. Yes, that is Toothless. Okay, let me continue. Brad sighed at Ruby's lack of response and quietly went on. "Oh, I love you, Ruby. I always have. But our daughter died a year ago. I can't keep pretending she's still here, like nothing's ever happened. I can't keep hearing you talk to an empty car seat any more." Ruby held the baby-born doll. Wait, what? Ruby held the baby-born doll gently and carefully, singing lullabies as she rocked it to sleep. She was panting, but she was comfortable in her new home. An unread letter from her husband, courtesy of the county jail, sat on the table next to her, begging for forgiveness she couldn't give. She wished so badly she had listened when the doctor said Brad's new medication could cause delusions. The end. Wait, what the frack? Wait, so who's Delulu? I can't tell who's the Delulu one. Was it the wife that was delusion, or was it Brad who's on medication and had delusions of the wife? Huh. Anyway, I'm just reading the comments. So apparently, what happened was that it seems that he was the man. The man was the one that was delusional, thinking there was no baby, but ended up killing her himself. That resulted to him in prison and the wife in a mental hospital. That's crazy. There's so many. That's so many fucking layers to this. Hi Ariyashi. Mika, is that you? No, sorry. Yeah, that's crazy. What a, what a plot twist. Hi, Serenity. Ah, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Okay, I'm reading another one now. It's by Forgotten Well as well. Forgotten Well as well. Okay, fair enough. The title of this one is "There's Something Weird in Our Attic." Did you hear that? I ask. Asking my wife. Hear what? I think I heard something in the attic. I grabbed the remote and turned down the volume of the TV. See? There it was again. I didn't hear anything, Abby said after blowing out a parade of smoke rings. It sounded like something was walking in our attic. Oh my god, like a squirrel? Feral squirrel, maybe. Poor guy's probably trapped. Abby leaned in, grabbed my shoulder and said, "You need to go up there and save him." She was being 100% serious. Hell no, I am not going up there. Why not? Because, I said, nothing ever good happens in attics. Oh, come on. I'm serious. Attics are places where you go to hide a terrible secret, hang yourself, but nothing in between. Abby's eyes started watering, like she wanted to cry but hasn't made up her mind yet. And she said, "Well, if you don't go up there and save him, then I will never forgive you." Damn it. There is no arguing when she gets worked up like that. I headed to the attic. It's probably nothing. It's probably nothing. It's probably nothing. I was whispering to myself. I had never actually gone up here before. It was dark, empty, and musty. I looked around for a trapped critter, but I found nothing except for a freestanding white door at the end of the room. That's strange. Curiosity got the better of me. I went over and opened the door, only to find out our living room on the other side. I mean, an exact, perfect replica of our living room, except the color of everything looked a little bit too saturated. I think I'm way too high. I walked through and shut the door behind me. I was on the ground level of our house, when I should be on the third floor. This is some trippy shit. Is that you, dear? I heard a voice calling me from the kitchen. It was Abby's. I think something's weird is happening, I said as I walked to the kitchen. We might need to cut back on the... As I said that, the hair on the back of my neck stood straight up. Abby was in the kitchen washing dishes. But even from the back, I could tell that thing wasn't my wife. I felt like a rabbit looking right into the mouth of a lion. New Abby looked over her shoulder and spoke to me. I got a good look at her. She was just like my Abby, except she had no eyes and no nose. Did you find out what was making those sounds? Her entire body vibrated with each word. I barely managed to whisper. What? You said you heard a sound in the basement and you were going to go and check it out. Oh God, Abby. I ran for the living room, to the door I emerged from, and flung it open. But the attic wasn't there anymore. The end. Oh, okay. I guess he just went into some parallel dimension thing. I don't know, where they look really different. I wonder where that version of his husband went. Maybe they swapped places. Who knows, right? He should have went to check the basement. Actually, yeah. But the basement is the attic to them, right? I don't know. That's so weird. Okay, let's do 2 more. This next story is called Lily is Missing. My alarm went off at 6:30 a.m. It's just another day. I got up, I made breakfast, and I went to Lily's room to wake her up for school. I knocked. No answer. Sigh. I love my daughter, but she could sleep through a hurricane, even if it ripped through the roof. She's gotten it from her mom, I assume. We lost Carly to cancer 3 years ago, and since then it has been just me and Lily. But I needed to get her up. I had to drop her off at school and get to work. Come on, sweetie. Rise and shine. Hearing nothing, I opened the door to wake her. The room was empty. I searched the rest of the house. Kitchen, laundry room, gas room, and even the basement. Nothing. Thank you so much, Kissy. Okay, I started to panic. She was only 8 years old, too young to have gone on her own. And I checked basically every single room. There was no signs of forced entry. I looked everywhere. Cabinets, closets, under beds, bathtubs. Nothing. I went to my neighbor's house asking for her. But he just looked at me like I was crazy. I was probably looking crazy. I called my parents. No answer. Thinking maybe I dropped her off and forgotten, I raced to her school. I went to the administrator and they asked what I was doing there and had me escorted out. Then I thought maybe I accidentally took her to work. I sped up to my office, figuring that they remember her for Take Your Daughter to Work Day last year. I looked for Nancy and Beth. They've both met her before, but neither was at their desk. I ran to see if she was in my office. No luck. Some idiot had removed Lily from the picture of us on my desk. A pretty dick move, but I'll deal with it later. I sped to her best friend's house, thinking she might be there, but her best friend's father told me to stop bothering him. Finally, not knowing what else to do, I went to the police. I spoke to the detective on duty, explaining that my child was missing. When I said she'd gone missing this morning, he looked at me with confusion and pity and got up to leave. I came here for help. Sorry, pause. Yes, Zayla, that is toothless. Yes. Okay, let me continue. I refused to leave, demanding someone look for my daughter, and suddenly a group of cops grabbed me. They threw me outside and wouldn't let me back in. I saw a church across the street, Lost, I went inside. A priest approached me as I sat. "What troubles you, my child?" "I don't know what to do, Father. I can't find my daughter." Reeling, I looked around, and then I realized my neighbor, my co-workers at the office, the picture on my desk, the officers at the police station, the people on the street, and the worshippers at this church. All men. "My child," the priest asked, looking at me in confusion. "What is a daughter?" The end. Wait, what? Okay, so basically, women don't exist? I am so confused. What kind of story is this? And Reddit stories are either hit or miss, man. Okay. Okay, let's do last two. This next story is written by Blood of the Forest, and the name of the story is 4:45. It's 4:45 p.m. and there's a man outside my door. I recognize him. Tony was the last two already. Okay, because sorry, pause. Let's see if I can find a long story, then it'll drag on longer. Okay, so Tony was the first person I made friends with in the police department. After I had to leave, I saw him less, but we were still friendly. And of course he saw my husband Todd at work. But this time, Tony looked sad. Too sad. Todd would have joined the police if Todd wouldn't have joined the police if I hadn't. Between my grandfather and my powers, it was an obvious choice for me. But when Todd and I met, he wasn't sure what he wanted to do in life. I told him half the truth. I told him that I idolized my grandfather and wanted to follow in his footsteps to become a police officer. I didn't tell him I could stop time, and thought that would make me incredible. What the he can stop time and he chooses to be a police officer? Okay, anyway, sorry. Sorry. Immersion break. Okay. I didn't tell him I could stop time, and thought that would make me an incredible asset in high pressure scenarios. It's 4:45 p.m. and my husband should have been home hours ago. I really thought my special ability would make me some kind of superhero. It took physical effort, but what's a few nosebleeds and headaches compared to the dodging bullets like you're in the Matrix? I thought I'd be extraordinary. But the ability to stop time is of no use if the shooter takes you by surprise. I was too injured to go back to work after that. Me and my superpower stayed home where we were both useless. Todd went out to the job I thought I'd succeed in, and I filled my days with slow and painful recovery. It's 4:45 and even through the window, Tony's eyes look red. I saw Tony coming up to the house, and I just knew. How could I not? My husband should be home, and instead, one of his best friends is walking out my door, looking more stressed out than I'd ever seen him. I knew. Except I didn't, technically. It was Schrodinger's news at the moment, and as long as I didn't answer the door, then my husband could possibly be alive. Of course, I froze time. If I didn't, then Tony would have knocked at the door, and if I didn't answer, eventually someone would have forced me to know. My nose bled instantly as I stared outside my frozen friend. It's 4:45. It's been 4:45 for a while. I'd never tried to maintain my time freeze abilities before. It was painfully difficult. But for whatever reason, I don't need to eat or sleep in this state, but it does cause a lot of strain. On the first day, my nose started to bleed. By the end of the week, I've bled so much. You could donate. You could basically it's enough to donate. It's 4:45 and I'm falling apart with the effort of keeping it that way. I have no way to measure how much non-time has passed, but I think it could have been months. I can't feel my limbs anymore, and the headaches I used to complain are now devastating. I think this is killing me, but for now it's 4:45, and I'd rather die than to see 4:46. The end. Okay. So basically she stopped time to what feels like forever, I assume. Forever to her, at least. Just stopping time so that she doesn't need to receive the news that her husband's dead. Probably. My. Reddit stories are such hit and miss. Let's see. This one has pretty high upvotes. Yeah, so far it's kind of missing. Each one has been quite bad, right? What's a twin without their twin? Maybe my luck today isn't so good. Oh, this one has a lot of upvotes. Let me see. Okay, this one looks pretty good. What happened? No, I'm just looking for good stories. So a lot of the short stories are either good or they're just bad. Okay, so this next one, hey, oh my god, Kissy. Why? Yeah, why? Don't do that. Please. Thank you so much, though. Okay, where was I? This next one, the title's kinda funny. It's for the little dragon, okay. The next one, the title's a bit weird, but it's a very, very long story, so bear with me. This story is called My Boss Wouldn't Stop Hitting on Me. One afternoon, he scheduled a meeting after hours. Okay, let me start. First, it was the flowers. They arrived at the reception, and as someone carried them to my desk, a horde of eyes followed. Oops. Okay. When they reached my hands, I had turned tomato red with embarrassment. To Hannah, from your secret admirer. It didn't take me long to realize this was my boss, especially when several after-hours meetings, just him and me, started to pop up. So, are you single? He suddenly asked in one of those. I pretended not to hear it and continued showing him a presentation. I had just started the job, and the thought of him interested in me made my stomach sick. He was married, with 3 kids, 30 years older, and of course, my boss. I was able to hold the line until one day. Wait, what? Not really. Sorry, when did I? Okay, sorry, I'm a bit lost. Okay, quick pause. Let me take a sip of water. Okay, so we had a team meeting. There were 12 people sat around a large table, and he chose the seat that was next to mine. Oh, that's gross, but okay. During the presentation, I felt something under the table. His hand discreetly on my thigh. The moment I realized, I jumped up and excused myself. That afternoon, I received a message from him via corporate chat. Please stay after 7 so we can discuss the Q2 sales strategy in private. Yeah, sure. I waited until everyone had left. When the meeting time came, I knocked on his door. He motioned me for coming closer, and he told me to sit. You've been showing great potential, he said. If you play your cards right, you'll have a future here. I thanked him and replied that I really liked the job and the team. We chatted a bit, the meeting topic, but soon it took a wild turn. Sorry, pause. Thank you so much for the roses, man. Okay. The only thing you're missing, he confessed, is being a team player. There are bigger positions coming up, and maybe you'll get lucky. I knew exactly what that meant. How about a beer? I asked. His face lit up. That's what I'm talking about. There is some in the mini fridge. I knew it already, and I got up, walked to the fridge, and opened 2 bottles. As we sipped, he raised his bottle to a stunning woman, and after some more small talk, he leaned in, asked for a kiss. But his muscles betrayed him, and then he collapsed. I checked on him, paralyzed, sprawled on the floor, eyes open and terrified. I grabbed my phone and told her to come up. A few minutes later, she did. As my boss's wife entered the room, his eyes widened. I had my suspicions he was a bastard, she told me. But you finally proved it. Thank you, Hannah. She handed me an envelope with my commission. I thanked her and headed for the door. Before leaving, I asked if she brought the equipment. She showed me a sharp knife hidden in her coat. I also asked if she remembered the directives I sent, how to stop bleeding when removing limbs. She confirmed, and I said goodbye. There are easier ways for pretty women to make money, but none of them this satisfying. The end. Oh my god. Holy shit. So basically she pretended to be a secretary and helps the wife catch the cheating husband. That's crazy. It's not really horror, fair enough, but I don't know. It's a pretty good twist. Is that Russian? I'm sorry, but I can't speak Russian. But hi. Is there any... Okay, this title caught me. This title caught me. Let me see if it's interesting. If it's interesting when you... Oh, okay. It's quite... They said give the dragon... Damn, why does everyone want Toothless? Leave him alone. He's just a poor kid. Okay. So this story has a very nice title. Hydrate, redeem when... Okay, I'll do it now. This story has a very nice title, and I am reading the comments. It seems like it has a pretty horrifying twist. So let's do the next one. So before I take a sip of water, this next story, the title is My Parents Picked Us from the Kids' Store. I Want to Return My Brother. You see, you want Toothless? Sure, you're going to have to come and get him. What kind of title is this? I want to return my brother. Okay, let me start. My parents told me I came from the kids' store. It's a magical place, Mommy said, smoothing my hair. It's where parents pick the perfect child. I liked that idea. It made me feel special. Like a prize that I had chosen from all the other kids waiting on the shelves. I didn't know why they picked him. He cried too much, all red-faced and wrinkly. He couldn't play. He couldn't talk. He couldn't do anything but steal Mommy's and Daddy's attention. Can we take him back? I asked. Mommy laughed. Oh, sweetheart, you can't return babies. Once you pick one, they're yours forever. A few days later, Mommy gave me a present. Inside of the box was Rosie, a doll with golden curls and a pink dress. 1 second, let me take a pause. Give me the dragon. I will give me a baby dragon. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Sure, you can pat Toothless. Okay, let me continue. Inside the box was a doll with golden curls and a pink dress. I think it's like a Barbie doll. Just for you, she said, to show you how much we love you. I lifted the lid, excited, but my smile faded. One of Rosie's legs had already come off. She's broken, I cried, holding up a limp leg. Don't worry, Daddy said. We'll take her back and get a new one. I watched as he packed Rosie into a bag and drove away. When he came back, she was fixed. Good as new, Mommy said. The next day, I waited until Mommy and Daddy were in the kitchen. Sam, my younger brother, lay in his crib, his tiny hands reaching for nothing. I reached in and grabbed his leg. I pulled, expecting it to come right off. It didn't. I twisted harder. A snap. Sam screamed. I grabbed his other leg. Snap. His arms. Snap. I pressed my hands against his cheek and twisted his head. Snap. Sam went floppy, and suddenly is quiet. Footsteps thundered up the stairs. Mommy and Daddy froze in the doorway. I held Sam up by his limp leg and smiled. He's broken, I said. Can we take him back to the kids' store now? They didn't speak. Instead, Daddy wrapped Sam's body in a blanket. Mommy took my hand. "Come on, sweetheart," she said. "We are going on a little trip." The kids' store was just like any other, except for the cages. Signs boosted sales and limited time discounts. Babies laid in bundled in blankets, with older children sat behind bars, their eyes tracking passing shoppers. A few cages stood empty and price tags still dangling from the doors. The manager greeted us. "Back again." Daddy handed Sam over. The man unwrapped him, frowning at the twisted limbs. "Shame," he muttered. "Wait here, we'll get you your replacement." A worker rolled out a metal cart. Inside was a baby just like Sam. They handed him to Daddy, swaddled in blue. "Good as new," Mommy whispered. I reached for her hand. She didn't take it. The man turned to her. "And what about this one?" he asked, nodding at me. "She's broken." The man's smile widened. "Well," he said, leading me to an empty cage, "we'll get you a new one then." "No," she said, adjusting her purse. "We want a refund." The end. Ooh. Ooh. Bye. Ooh, that's nasty. The snapping bit was definitely not it. And now they're asking for the refund. Oh my goodness. Okay. Anyway, I think that's the last story for today. Apologies for being late. I was a little late today. Do you think it's a full or partial refund? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how refunds work for a whole human body. But maybe because it's damaged, it's a partial refund. Aw, Kissy. Don't worry, I'll think of you too. That is all the time I have for today, guys. Did you guys enjoy at least some of the stories? Some of them are kinda not it. Some were okay, but it's not really horror. A lot of them is just suspense. Okay. I like the last. Oh yeah, we at the very least, we ended with a bang. The last story was a bit painful to read. When I was reading the story, I was like, what is going on in this guy's head? But yeah, it was unhinged. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, it actually was. But yeah, that is going to be it for today. So that was the last story. So for those of you who just joined in, hi. Unfortunately, I'll be going off soon. A bit sad. So, are you guys ready to turn into bed? Fall asleep? It's getting late. Okay. Please, all of you just go to bed early or something. Don't be like me. But yeah. Don't turn me into a bed. Okay. So, tomorrow, I will see if I can stream, but we'll see how it goes. I haven't decided what I'll be streaming tomorrow, but if I'm streaming, I guess you guys will find me at around the same time. Otherwise, I'm actually a little tired. I have a lot of work to do, so we'll see if I can make it tomorrow. Yeah, because I'll be up all night doing work. So that's it for today. That's basically it for today, guys. Thank you so much Yes, I had my dinner, Snow. Don't worry. Today I'm functioning like a normal human being. Bye, Bao Bao. Yeah, I'll. Bye bye. Yes. Yeah, I'll see you guys, okay? Thank you so much for joining along. I hope you had a good time. For those of you who just came in, don't worry. You can find all my. You can find my reads on YouTube or something like that. Okay. So, good night. Sweet dreams. I love all of you, and I'll see you guys soon. Okay. Stay safe. That's Yoru signing out.